Hello guys, so welcome to the webinar. Let's wait just a couple minutes in case someone is arriving. Okay, peeps, so we will start. I will start to share my screen right now. So, yes, I will be sharing. And yes, it's sharing now. Wait, I will check that my microphone is working. I believe yes, it is. Yes, perfect. So just remember that I won't be able to see the comments because uh, I am basically working with the Google Hangouts, so I cannot see the comments that you can write in YouTube. So if you have any questions, just write there on the YouTube comments, and every now and then I will get out of the Hangouts, let's say, and I will check in YouTube if you have any questions or if anything. And also, of course, I saw that there are some of my amazing commission of BPSTM 1920. So you can also, guys, write to me on WhatsApp if anything goes wrong and you don't listen to me or something like that. Cool. So we will start. Welcome everyone to Train the Recruiters. I'm super happy to be here, to be having this second webinar before our recruitment of January. And I'm very excited that there is a lot of people joining us and wanting to learn how to be a better recruiter for our organization. So just to start, this is the agenda we will have today. There's a quick reminder from previous webinar, like some very important things that we were seeing. Then we will go straight to attraction, like we will see what we should be doing, some like tips, let's say, and ways forward on how to do attraction, also on how to do selection. Then like a quick inspirational time on the powers that we have in our hands, and the task before our third and I think last webinar. I was wondering if we should do only 2 or 3, but I think it's better if we do 3 because there are some LCs that still don't have all the OC selected. So it will be good that we do the third one. So after today, I will send you again the email with everything, and we will choose the day in next week to have our third webinar. And then if you even want to have a fourth one, we can also have. So this is for today. And also I was thinking a lot how can we do the certification method, because last webinar I was asking you to put your names in the YouTube comments, but I think it's more efficient if we do it this way. So at the end of the training I will send a test, let's say, and then you will have to complete it, and the ones that have that get the questions correct and the ones that fulfill it getting the questions correct will get the certification during NATCO. Because I believe that most of you, some of you will be there, and if you're not going because you're not team leader or you're not VP elect, still you will get your certification. Your VPs will take it for you, and this way is better because, as I said before, there are some LCs that still don't have their OCs or are in the process of getting them, so they can just watch the videos, and if you get the information, then you can do the test, and then it can be we can do the certification like that. So after today, I will send you all the information in the output email. Yes, on how it will be done. So after our last webinar, I will send the test, and then you can fill it. And again, as we did in the previous in our previous webinar, every time that you see the black and white blue man, write on the YouTube comments like your favorite emoji. This is like super cool because it keeps us like awake, let's say, and paying attention. And also those are very important slides, so it's cool that you remember when if you are rewatching the PPT or the video, you remember that those are important slides. So let's get into it. And regarding reminders about the timeline that I wanted to tell you is that remember that the recruitment will take place from 7th to 10th of February. What will happen during those dates is the whole process of attraction, selection, and allocation. On 10th of February should be the last day to have LCCs or induction days where people will finally realize in which area they are allocated, so that then they can start working. Today I was having a lot of synergy meetings with the rest of MCPPs, and we're talking a lot that February will be like a very crucial month because it will be a month of a lot of sales in ICX and a lot of sales also, but for signups in OGX. So by that point, we need to have all of our members ready to go, like knowing like the basics about your basics about the organization, so that they can start selling. So yes, this is the last day, and it will be amazing. And when it comes exactly going to when, we have divided into the 3 stages. When it comes to attraction, it will be from 7th to 20th. It will be like the Facebook event. There will be the all of the ads running. There will be like the whole online campaign. We'll have the countdown and everything, the national side. If by 20th you achieve less than 80%, you can of your applicants' goals, you can do one more week of physical attraction. You can. It's not that we are not doing physical attraction before, but you can like do a lot of like you can focus a lot on physical attraction on that week because we will not have the Facebook event anymore. So you can focus more on that. When it comes to selection, it will be happen. This is my recommendation that we do it separately from attraction so that we can focus ourselves better in each of the parts of the process. So selection can be only done in 1 week. So we put all of our assessment centers and interviews in only 1 week, and we make sure that on that week we are super focused on processing the applicants that we had from before. Because after all, if the applicants are waiting, let's say, to attend to the selection part, like assessment or interview, for 2 weeks, but we keep them informed with stuff, is not so long. And so if you remember before in the previous recruitment, what we did was that it was lasting 1 month, and then we were doing everything all together: attraction, selection, and allocation. Sorry, attraction and selection. So it was like quite a lot. So this is my new proposal for us to make sure that everything is more organized. And then allocation in itself, this won't be our responsibility as OC recruitment. It will be more on the hands of EBLX and on team leaders that will be part of review boards. But still, we have a very important part because they will basically allocate the people that we select. So still, it's very important that we know that we are playing a key role in that. And it should happen, as I said before, during the LCCs, so the local committee conferences, or induction days, as each EB will decide how to do, if they want to have like a LC conference or if they want to have one induction day. And during those days, they do the allocation and they present the members to the areas they will join. Another important thing is that I made this bit.ly today for you to have quick access to the recruitment folder that I was also sharing in the email, but I made this bit.ly so it's easier. So take a picture of this or write it down if you have something to write. And if you don't have access, just ask a request for it and I will give you super fast. I was already giving to some people that was requesting. This folder I will show you right now is basically this one. It's called like this because this is the recruitment, and it has the recruitment in each part: talent planning, attraction, selection, allocation, onboarding. For now, in talent planning, we don't have anything because, as we said in the previous webinar, we still LCs are still in the process of having the coaching visits and planning their goals. So this Thursday in our commission call, I will present the tool that we will use for talent planning. Then we will finally know in our next and last webinar, we will know our recruitment goals. So this is very cool. And then the folder of talent attraction, you can find the whole offline materials. Still, the online materials are not there, but I will update you later on this when we get to the part of attraction. And yes, you have everything there. So make sure that you write down this link. And also another important link is the TM local tools links, where all of the local TM tools are, and you can have access to the January recruitment part that looks more or less like this. And remember that until 16th, which was last Sunday, we were supposed to have managed all of this. If you still didn't, make sure that you gather your OC and you work on this to have it done as earlier as possible. Of course, we can use those weeks, but since it's Christmas break, the sooner we do it, the better. And we'll also talk about this in a few seconds. So just make sure that you write down those links. So now let's go to attraction. And today will be divided into how to online attract and to offline attract. So when it comes to online attraction, one important thing is to be actually engaged with the national content. The campaign that we will have will not differ much from the one that we had in previous recruitment. It will be also like join ISEC. So it will be like always, as always, the typical ISEC blue, and it will have like, it will share stories on why it's so cool to join ISEC and so on. So make sure that you are, of course, attending the Facebook events that we will be called ISEC for Poland recruitment or something like this. Just like it was with the previous recruitment, and like the comments and everything. Make sure that your LCs are also liking and tagging their friends or people who might join. Uh, Share your stories. This is the most important thing. Like, this is what everyone is saying about social media. That social media, the power of social media, it's actually their users. So we from the national level can create the most amazing content, but if then us as the network, we don't share or share our own story or like spread it even more, it won't have as much impact. So make sure that you also, for example, post your picture of your first LC meeting or something when you were a member, or ask even the rest of your members of the LC to share their story and why being ISEC is so cool, and use the hashtags that we will put there. And then do not spam in your Facebook wall. This is something that we were talking a lot in the previous one, because we were noticing that in previous recruitments, basically everyone was just sharing everything that was happening. And sometimes, like, this is not the way to attract, because all of our friends know that we are in ISEC and we share a lot about it. So we need to be smart and we need to share like only the cool stuff. Like, or only those things that we know is going to be like eye catching for people. Like, usually there are these typical, for example, uh, posts that say why Isaac ruined my life, and and they tell you all of why Isaac ruined your life, in the sense that I cannot see this country in the same way because I fell in love because of my exchange experience and this kind of stuff. So it's eye catching in that way. uh, have a plan. This is very, very, very important. In the JDs for OC's recruitment, I was recommending that there is one person whose JD final responsibility is online attraction as a whole. So I don't know, you guys, if someone here is final responsible for online attraction, but if you are, you have a really cool job to do, as well as everyone else in your team, of course. But what does it mean is that you, as person responsible for online attraction, you will be telling your LC when are those specific moments when they need to be sharing and creating like a viral thing in the whole Facebook and Instagram and all social media. And also one important, very important point are referrals, because we know that usually the best way, the best source of members are friends of ISEC members, because this is people who actually know what ISEC looks like because they have their friends. So also make sure that you encourage your LC to invite their friends, and you can even create a campaign and things like that. And also investigate about fan pages from universities and other media that can collaborate with ISEC, that can share the content and everything. And going to each local tool, there are some things here that I wrote about that. For example, asking universities for internal promotion. Sometimes universities tend to be very bureaucratic. For example, when I was a member in ISEC, even when I was BPTM, I was asking my professors to share, and it took me like a really long time. So I was writing emails to her and reminding her and sending her the materials and everything, but it usually takes time. So make sure that you do it as soon as possible. Yes. What else? What else? Yeah, the rest is about physical things. But this is very, very important, and you can also do it, for example, with other organizations inside of the university. If you have other departments, for example, about university well-being for students or something like this, you can also contact them so that they can share the posts from ISEC in Poland fan page in Facebook, and you will ensure that the content is not only shared by you as members of the organization or by other students, but also by institutions that actually support ISEC. So make sure that you do it from now, because, as I said before, Christmas break is coming, so we need to ensure this. This is what the campaign will more or less look like. Like I said before, we'll tell you at the end of this week where are all of the materials. We will have all of the online materials to use. But it looks a little bit like this. This is the link that we will use, isaac.pl/recrutatia. And as I said before, it will be very simple, straightforward. Yes. Then when it comes to offline attraction, yay! Offline attraction for me is super, super crucial. I cannot even stress enough how crucial it is. Why? Because we tend to underestimate offline attraction. We believe that if we are investing money in ads, if we are sharing all of our materials and everything, then offline attraction is not so important, or that people won't pay attention to us. But it is actually a fact that people get interested in one brand or something one day, in one brand, when they see it at least for 2 or 3 times, and specifically if they see it in different environments. So this is the case of Isaac. If they see Isaac post in their university fan page, and then they also go to university and they see that we have an info booth, or that we put a banner there, a roll up, sorry. Then the chances are higher that they will actually remember us, and they will go and they will register to be a member. So make sure that that offline attraction is also a very important part. And same as with online attraction responsible, I was also recommending to have a person that is offline attraction responsible. And this is also a super cool role, and it's very important. And it has a lot to do with logistics, because you will see in the points that I will show here. So, of course, plan in advance, research about events in the city and in the university. I would say specific in the sorry, a specific focus in university, and in the focus university that you work with in your LC. So make sure that you contact professors for the class shouts, that you ask for permission if you want to do an activation, for example, with balloons about SDGs or anything, and that you have it ready. Have materials prepared in advance. Remember that you already have available all the things to print. For example, if you want to do a roll up, if you want to print something. I know that Poznan actually will print a huge roll up that they will hang in the university door. Yesterday, Maya sent us a picture. So if you're doing this, super cool. So you can share the idea and this GCP, and you can tell us how it goes. Also, we have you have the models for leaflets, flyers, so you can also do that, and anything that you will that you think that will be useful. And then what is more important is having a speech practice. We need to make it simple and short with a clear call to action. And for this, there's nothing other than practicing. When I joined Isaac, I was actually a member in OGT. And at the beginning, oh my God, my info sessions were super horrible. Messages that I was sending were horrible. But truly, like after like 2 or 3 months of doing the same, I was already like super trained. And it took me 2 or 3 months only because I wasn't doing it like as often enough, or because it was different. But I assure you that if in the first 2 weeks, like you make sure in the first week of the recruitment, like you make sure that you practice like in front of the mirror or even with your OC team. Okay, this is what I'm going to say. Then it just will happen, and people will believe you. And the most important thing is that you have clear in your mind what is the call to action, what you want people to do, and we want them to apply. So remember the link. I remember that you always mention this one, and remember that that you mentioned if they have to go somewhere, or if you want them to invite someone to somewhere. And then something also really cool is to make sure that we are adapting the message to the audience. This is something that we usually forget, but for example, if we are going to promote in the economics faculty, so these people is interested what in economics basically because they are studying this. Or at least if they're not interested and they're just studying this career but they don't like it, at least they understand about economics. So when we are talking to this specific target group, we can mention that in Isaac you have the possibility to manage actual resources. Like even if you're a member in OGV, you have the opportunity to manage money because your team can be given money to invest in something like in ads or in something. If you're a team leader also, like uh, you really have the chance to manage actual resources and to be in charge of a project that should bring results. And this is super attractive for people who study economics. If you go to the University of Languages, oh, you will get to meet people who are native speakers of Spanish if you are in the languages university and there's someone who learns Spanish. So make sure that when you are doing speech with someone specific, you ask them before so that you have this information. And if you're doing a class shout, so you know in advance what is these people studying, you include these kind of things in your speech. And something also cool is to use real data that could be interesting for the audience. For example, when I was a member and then when I was a VP, in my university, actually, a lot of people from my university were members of ISEC, and actually, two LCPs in a row were studying from that career, which was translation. So it was a very interesting fact. So when I was approaching the dean of of this university to ask them for, yeah, can you share my materials, please? Because la 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 la. I was always saying, in our organization, we have currently 10 members who study the career. So we can see how ISEC is influencing positively their journey in the university, because it's helping them strengthen, for example, their English skills and stuff like this. Just by telling them this, it makes it like more appealing to the people from the university, because they actually understand this. And this is not only for people from the university, but also when you are actually giving the speech to the other students to make them join the organization, you can also mention in ISEC, in our LC, we have, I don't know, 50 members, we have 40, 30 members, and X amount of them are from this career, and they are developing this and that skill. And then you can mention even historical data if you have some, and this kind of facts make people believe more in what we're saying. And going super quickly to our tool, yes, also like things that I was recommending, booking the rooms in advance, for example, if you, this is more for the assessment centers, sorry, but yes, to contact your professors, to do the class shouts, ask for the permission, for example. Activations for me is the most interesting thing, because right now people are like millennials, and even the generation that comes after are like very have a very short span of attention, because we are used to have all the information everywhere super fast. So if we go to the university and we do the same as every other students your organization will do, they will probably like know what to expect from us, or they will not even pay attention. So we need to be original. We need to do something that it's really catching for them. So I don't know, we can, the typical dressing someone as Blue Man and make them walk around in the university, and then putting a place where they can go and find out what it's like. And put our computers there so that they will apply in that moment. Or even you can even go more crazier and do these things with the balloons, and put like, okay, what skills you want to develop, and they have to pop the balloons with this. Or if in the university there will not be a lot of people, you can also do it in the city center, and you will not only be attracting for membership, but you will can only be attracting for OGX or for global host, for IGV. You can do like, yeah, everything can come from that. But let's make sure that we are appealing to our target group. Yes, and when it comes to selection, this is a reminder from our past webinar. So it consists basically of 4 steps. I'm sorry. The first one is the application that these people have to send, that we will receive in our Podio space. In our next webinar, we will see more in detail about that, but also I cannot show a lot from that here in this YouTube video because of GDPR. So I will show you later. But just bear in mind that you should be in the Podio space, and that they should always apply in the isec.pl/recrutatia link. And once we receive their application, we should send them the first contact email. They will have the interview or review board, however you would like to call it, and the group assessment. As I was saying in the past webinar, these two can be in different order. It's just up to us. Some LCs prefer to do the group assessment, the assessment center before, some later, so it's up to you. But the important thing is that we have very clear what we are assessing in each of them. In the interview or review board, which is an individual thing, we should be assessing the person as an individual. So what are the values of this person? What are the behaviors of this person? What does this person want with the organization? We need to understand like the person. And when it comes to group assessment, the assessment center, it's more of like the skills of this person, because we will be able to see them working, we'll see them in action. So here we should assess, okay, does this person know how to sell? Does this person know how to do public speaking? So those things are crucial, and we need to make sure that we are assessing those specific things in each of those, these touch points, but then they are interchangeable. We can do one first on the or the other first, and it's the same. And last, but please not ever leave, like this is super important, we should send the results. Even if the person gets accepted or gets rejected, we should send the result with the feedback from what we saw. We will go then to how to contact the applicants, and then I will show you the tool for selection and allocation. So when it comes to the contact of applicants, they will automatically receive an email that will say like some basic information about ISEC in case that they want to know more, and they will be contacted within 24. That they will be contacted within 24 hours. So make sure to contact them. In the folder, which I showed you the link before, you can see this template, like this email that we created with Misha to send them. I think that we still have there the one from previous recruitment, so we will do a few slight changes, and then we will use this one, but I believe it won't change much. So just bear in mind that these people are expecting to be contacted within 1 day. So just this will be tracked also in Podio. So there you will be able to choose to click the button like this person is contacted or not. And one thing that I also recommend is that if you are probably a lot of people in your team. You are like a lot, not a lot, but you are a team, you are like a few people. So make sure that you divide yourself as to when you will be checking Podio. It's not necessary that you have one person at every hour of the day. It's not like this, but just make sure that at least once a day, Podio is checked and the people are contacted. And remember, the good thing is that we are only doing attraction from 20th. Okay, I have to go back a lot. But remember that we are doing attraction from 10th, 7th to 20th. So it's basically 13 days when this needs to happen. So it's not a lot. So just make sure that you are organized with your team to make sure that everyone is contacted as soon as they have to. Oh, and another important thing is that I will be sending at the end of every week feedback form to applicants to know if they are having any troubles or if something is not clear, because this is quite helpful, for example, to understand if the form is not understandable at some point, or if we need to change something or something like this. So we'll send in this, but this is just for you to know. When it comes to selection, like I was saying before, in the interviews, we filter the values and the mind competence. Minimum, they should have 3 points to pass. This I will show you in a second in the tool. And in the group assessment or assessment center, we filter the functional or hard skills. We need to be very objective and ask ourselves, is the person is someone who can actually perform regular ISEC tasks? If it's someone who has the values that match the organization, for example, if someone, I don't know, it's racist. We see like a racist behavior during the any of the touch points. Okay, this person might not be the best profile, or it's not that we will reject them, but we can. It's very important that we mention this in the interviews and in the assessment center. That in our organization we do not discriminate under any circumstance. La la la. Anyways, they will see it, but just for you to be aware. And just a quick reminder that here in selection, you can find the group assessment PPT and interview PPT. So yeah, there you have basically like a guide on if you want to edit it, you can, but you have like what it looks like, what the tasks that they should do, and so on. And yes, and when it comes to the interview, it has like a bit more information about ISEC, like it has the ISEC way, the values. Yeah, here you can see everything, so you can use it has SDGs, the products that we work with. And yeah, you can of course make sure you copy it and edit it if you want to add, for example, information about your LC, anything that you find relevant. And yes, I wanted to show you I will show also here the selection and allocation tool. So as I was saying before, we have, for example, the interview where we are assessing the values and the competences. So the values are, of course, the 6 values of our organization. And I was saying that should have 3 as minimum in average to pass. So, for example, let's say that in these ones they have 2, then they have like 4 and 4 and 5, and then you get 3.35. So this person, like most likely, can be a part of the organization. It's not necessary that you ask all of these parts. So yeah, actually, because if not, it will take you like a long time. And as I was recommending, it should be like half an hour, not more than that, because can you imagine like processing all of the people? It's a lot. So you cannot ask all of them, and then if it's less than 6, you just do the average, let's say, in your mind, and if it's 3, then it's decent. But if the answers of these people are not like 2 or 1, you assess them like maybe these people doesn't really want to be in the organization. Because yes, it's very weird that somebody will answer like very poorly, but in case they do, you have this objective number that you can pick there. And when it comes to the competences, there's the same. Again, it's not necessary that you ask all of them, because some of these things you might see in the previous questions, like for example, eagerness is basically the ability of like, is this for example, this is the willingness to work or to do stuff. And you might already see this in the attitude of the person, so you don't need to ask it. But you are wondering, okay, is this person empathetic? Will this person like understand and try to put themselves in the shoes of someone else? So yeah, it might be important that you ask actually these questions. Or maybe you are wondering if this person is agile enough, because you want to know if the person will be a good seller, because you need a lot of profiles for OGB. Or for to do sales. So you might want to ask the agility question, and then the same, you just put the numbers and think of how much the average should be. And then you have a space here for comments and feedbacks, and here you have the task that you can give them to do, that you should give them to do, and that they can then later on present in the assessment center if it comes later on. And then if you have the interview after the assessment center, they can present to you in the interview. And for the assessment center, it's the same. Like there are some tasks. I put 3 here. You can choose. I think in the PPT I put up to 2, but if you want to do more, you can. There are the typical like tasks to see how people work. And for example, there is the typical one that to give a character to each person in a group of, let's say, 5 people, and you give them an imaginary situation. Okay, you guys, you're all in a boat, and you are a priest, you are a lawyer, you are an economist, you are a teacher, and you are a doctor, and the boat is sinking. So but somebody needs to be thrown into the ocean so that the boat will not sink anymore and we can reach the coast. So we need to choose who do we throw. And then a kind of debate should happen. And then you can see who is the person who's usually taking the lead, or who is like always mediating, who has better public speaking skills. So this is the kind of group tasks that I am suggesting. And then here you will see a set of skills that you can assess: communication, teamwork, innovation. Because, for example, you can give them the typical task of, let's say, who builds the highest towers, and you just give them, I don't know, some sticks and paper and tape, and you give them 5 minutes, and the team that builds the highest tower is the team that builds that wins. And so here you can see, for example, who is the most action-oriented, who is the most adaptable to the situations, because they will be working with people that they have no idea about. And the same, you can put like comments and feedback. Yeah, so this is the tool. And how it works like, you have basically one of these whole rows for each applicant. So in the tool, you can put here who is the person, you put the link to the Podio application, the background, when they are available, if the person lives in the city or not. And I know that usually this takes some time to get, like you can get this information from the Podio application, but it's not something that, like, it's better if you have this before doing the interview or before doing the assessment center. but if you don't have it, like you can put it later on. What is important is that, yeah, for you to understand that one of these huge things is for one applicant, and we have like the whole assessment of the person in each of those rows. So this is how it works. Every LC in your local tools, you have one of the tabs called like this, selection allocation, and you can actually make a copy if you have an old one and delete the ones from the September recruitment and use this one. I'm sorry. Or you can copy from here, from the recruitment tool. You can copy the tab into there. So yes, this comes for selection, and now I wanted to like open. I see a lot of emojis. That's nice. So I want to open like for a second the mic for somebody who might have any questions or something that is not clear enough. You can simply write it here in the YouTube comments. So somebody has any question? I see that some people wrote here about the YouTube channel. So yeah, you should be logged into your YouTube. Okay. So I think we don't have any questions for now. Okay. So I will finish and proceed to the next part. Cool. So we saw how to attract, how to select. This is like this inspirational part that I wanted to add in today's webinar about the power in our hands. I wasn't like showing a lot about this in these webinars, and I remember that in the previous ones I was doing it in the previous trainer recruiter, so I wanted to bring a little bit from this back. That truly, guys, our work, it's amazing. It's one of the best works that this organization has. Being in TM, for me, it's one of the biggest pleasures that I've ever had. When I was VP, when I was Teamster in Argentina, and now being here in Poland, the same. Because for me, we are the door for people to leadership, and not only to leadership inside the organization as members, but also for leadership as through exchanges. Because if we are not there, like providing with the members, providing with the knowledge, having the synergy meetings, making sure that everybody knows and has everything they need to know and have to perform and make operations happens, then ISEC will basically not exist. And we are an organization that is made out of people. So as long as people are satisfied, developing, and as long as they are challenged enough to learn and be every day better, then the organization will keep on moving forward and will be able to keep on delivering the mission of ISEC until the end of times. So I just wanted to remind you of this, that even though we are doing like a lot of functional stuff in this webinar, and I'm showing you a lot of tools and data and things that you need to know. I also wanted to remind you that we should never forget about the human factor, about the fact that we will be talking to actual people made of bones and flesh that actually want to join the organization and make a good impact in the world. So just never forget about this. And remember that you might be the person recruiting a future LCP or MCP or even PAI of ISEC in the world, and it's someone who might actually make a huge difference and even like I don't know, create a huge impact in your LC or in the whole entity that will be remembered forever. So we have a huge power in our hands, and our work is amazing. So enjoy every minute of it. And given this inspirational speech, I want just to move to the task part. So the task for today is nothing new, is what we have been doing for the previous weeks. So update the local tools, make sure you have everything planned, because we are heading to Christmas break. And even though it doesn't mean we stop working and that ISEC stops, it means that institution stops and that university stops. So we won't be able to do much with external people. So make sure that you really use the next weeks in the best way possible and you have everything prepared. And I wanted to show you very quickly that in our TM National tool, there is this recruitment tracker where you will see like these numbers being updated. These numbers, like I was saying in the email, they come like if you are clicking on the things that you already have done, you will see that the percentage gets higher. So make sure that you click everything that you have done. And also in the email, I was telling you that if you want to change this and add more stuff, or if there's something you are not going to do and you want to change the percentage so that it's actually showing the true percentage of accomplishment, just write to me, let me know. We can fix it. But this is really important for me as MCPTM to know how to support you better and to know like which are the LCs that are more on track or are the ones that are struggling a bit more. And this is also something that other areas can also check to help you and give you support. So make sure that everything is prepared, like I was saying before we go on Christmas break, so that when we come back and we are starting recruitment, everything's ready. And also, just as a reminder, in January, when it's the recruitment in itself and the action will come, you have here from the national level all the things that we will do. For example, the event will be opened on 6th of January. The ads will be running, no, sorry, the Facebook event will be running, like I said, from 7th to 20th. And the ads will be run here. So remember to order them. And some VPs finance were having doubts, and I already sent the information to them. So if you also have doubts or still have an order, make sure you do. And on the local levels, here's like the recommendation on when to do class shouts, stands, activations. Founder clubs, this is very funny. This is basically massive sharings in the LC of, for example, a video of recruitment or other posts that you can do. You can paint other days of the weeks that you want to use as the day to do massive sharings. And yes, you can also add, for example, when are you going to do referrals, like here, refer your ISEC to your friends. So when are the moments when this is going to happen? So feel free to take this basically and paint it and mark the days and add notes and do anything you want, because these tools are for you. They are for LCP TM, but right now you're working as a small and very important part of TM. So make sure that you use this the best way possible for you. So this is the task for today, and that's it for today. I don't have much to say, so I will just stop sharing the screen, but I will be here in case that somebody has any other questions that you would like to ask. So make sure like you can write in the chat in YouTube. So yeah, if you have any question, I will be here for a couple more minutes waiting for your questions if you have.